everybody. My name is Dr. Scott Giacomucci. I'm the director and founder of the Phoenix Center for Experiential Trauma Therapy in Media, Pennsylvania. I'm board certified in clinical social work and psychodrama, and I'm an experiential therapy trainer and educator. I'm really excited that you found this video, and I hope that you find it helpful in your work. This is part of an ongoing video series highlighting my recently published book, Social Work, Sociometry, and Psychodrama, Experiential Approaches for Group Therapists, Community Leaders, and Social Workers. In this video series, we'll be going through the book chapter by chapter to articulate some of the content of the book, to warm you up to the book perhaps, or to help you further understand, process, and digest the content and the processes that are outlined in this book. If you haven't already gotten a copy of the book, you can download it for free online at Springer Nature's website, the publisher, or on Amazon through their ebook platform. If you do find the book helpful, I would be incredibly grateful if you considered leaving an Amazon review, an honest Amazon review about the book, so that we can help reach future audiences. Now, in psychodrama practice, there's 3 phases of a psychodrama. The first phase is the warming up phase, then we have the action phase, and finally we have the sharing phase. So the 3 phases of the psychodrama, they usually reflect and mirror the three parts of Moreno's triadic system: sociometry, psychodrama, and group psychotherapy. So in a psychodrama group, the warm-up is usually sociometric in nature. In a psychodrama group, the action phase is a psychodrama. And in the sharing phase, we utilize more traditional group psychotherapy techniques, returning to the larger group for sharing, verbal sharing and processing. Now, it can be tempting to neglect one of these phases. Moreno used to highlight the importance of warming up by suggesting that there was no such thing as resistance and no such thing as poorly done role plays, just poor warm-ups to that role play. Or that instead of resistance, a client was simply not warmed up enough or warmed up to something else. I've been suggesting through some of my more recent writing that one of the reasons why most role plays in the classroom fail is because professors don't give enough attention to the warming up process. They try to jump into action and into role playing without first warming up the students and attending to the different levels of warm up. That role plays in the classroom and elsewhere are much more successful and meaningful when we attend to that warming up phase. It's where we start to tap into spontaneity. Just like we would warm our body up physically before engaging in any kind of physical action like running or working out or engaging in physically intense work, we also need to warm up our mind, our emotions. We have to warm up ourselves before we engage in emotional work, cognitive work, and existential spiritual work. So we give attention to the warming up process. Then we move into the action phase of the group. This is where we would actually do a psychodrama. When we do a psychodrama, usually in the warming up process, we start to uncover themes in the group. Or we intentionally structure our warming up process around certain themes that we intend to integrate into the action phase. So the warm-up and the action and the sharing are intimately connected and integrated with each other. In a traditional psychodrama, so there's different ways to discern a protagonist, and we'll talk about the different roles and elements of a psychodrama in a moment. Different ways to discern a protagonist. By far the best way, assuming that you have time to do it, is to use sociometry to discern a protagonist in a topic. When we allow the group to propose topics, and have the group sociometrically, democratically choose that topic based on a topic that would help most members of the group, a topic that most people relate to in the group. We're always going to end up with more buy-in from the group and the participants, more impact, and we're going to ensure that the psychodrama, the action, the role-playing, is a group as a whole experience. That we're not falling into the trap of doing individual therapy with a group audience, which many group workers unfortunately end up doing. That we're not just putting someone on the hot seat and doing their work isolated from the observers and the audience observing them, but that they're the center of attention because they're representative of the group. Their topic, the roles, the themes in their topic and in their goal reflect the themes and roles and topics in the rest of the group, and that's been discerned sociometrically. The protagonist effectively becomes a mirror for everybody else in the group to see themselves. So we ensure that it's a group as a whole process. After the psychodrama, we move on to that third phase of the group, which is the sharing phase. And so psychodrama sharing is a bit different than other traditional group therapies in terms of verbal sharing, in that we often discourage feedback and advice giving. Moreno says, feedback is what happens when two electronic devices get too close to each other and we get that really annoying sound, that feedback sound. We don't want that in the group. Instead, he suggests that it's much more helpful to focus the sharing on group members being vulnerable themselves, talking about themselves, sharing with the protagonist and the group how they related to the themes in the psychodrama, how they related to the feelings the protagonist expressed, how they related to the roles and the dynamics in the psychodrama, what it was like to play a role that they played in the psychodrama, what they're taking away from the process, that it's more so about them sharing about themselves and taking the time to integrate their learning, their experience going forward, than it is about giving advice or feedback. So I like to tell my clients after a psychodrama, as we move into sharing, this is a time to honor the protagonist's vulnerability by being vulnerable yourself. So it's much more helpful to share about yourself in this phase than to try to give advice and focus on the protagonist. So these are the three phases of a psychodrama: warm-up, action, and sharing. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, I'd really invite you to like this video and perhaps subscribe to the channel so you can receive updates about future videos. Again, it would really go a long way in helping the book reach future readers if you considered leaving an Amazon review for the book, an honest review. I would greatly appreciate that. And I'm really interested in connecting with you and hearing how this video was for you, how it was helpful, how it challenged you, what you think may have been missing, other connections between psychodrama and social work that I didn't articulate that you're noticing. Go ahead and put that in the comments section here, and we'll begin a discussion and dialogue together. And feel free to also suggest future videos for the channel. I'm really interested in what you would like to learn more about. As long as it's within the scope of my competence, I'm happy to consider creating a video on that for you. So again, I encourage you to check out some of the other videos on this page and stay connected.